Natalie Sokolova. Natalia, sorry, Sokolova. I was focusing on the last name. Sokolova. She's going to talk about her fantastic story. I mean, she was the youngest admitted at age of 16 about 10 years ago to the University of Maryland, and has a great experience. And she's going to go. I'm not going to steal any thunder here. So tomorrow we start at 8. Get there at 8, because at 8:30 we start. We're going to talk about China. 8:15? We start at 8:15. Okay, sorry. Okay, at 8:15, so you're going to grab some, whatever you want, bacon, eggs, and then, so at 8:15 we're going to start, so get up early, don't stay up too late, but so after this too, Paul will tell you everything, because I'll probably forget everything here, but, and of course Alexis knows exactly what's going on. We have 8:20 is the hospitality suite, that's mine, and it's kind of big, so we can probably have everybody here in it. And we're going to be there for a little bit after this. So if you want to make your way up there, we'll have some wine and beer and that, and hang out. And then so at 8, and we go to 4, and then we drink, and then for those who are taking part in the startup roundup on Wednesday, we start at 9, and we'll be at the. I'll tell you exactly what it is, but 9 to 12, and that'll be a lot of fun as well, because we got a lot of cool founders here. We got people actually, of course, looking to allocate to many different strategies and assets and startups. But okay, Natalia, let me give it to you now. And she's going to tell us about her fantastic life thus far, and maybe what's going to happen later. So thanks.
Well, thank you very much. First, I want to say thank you for having me here. And it's actually the first time I'm speaking not about business strategies or dry powder or investments, but more I was asked to speak about more of my personal story. So that's the first. We live right now in the world full of chaos, and we're on the verge of World War III, hopefully not. The US currency is about to be ceased to begin the global currency. It's hard to predict what's going on. So how do you apply the personal traits to your business skills? And to talk about it, I would like to share a little bit of my personal story and how it helped me to do what I doing right now. So I come from the oldest noble living family in Russia, and right now saying that you're Russian is a bad thing, but no matter what, I'm so very proud of being Russian, because you cannot take somebody's culture and somebody's upbringing and judge them just because of some political situation in the world. And so I won Moscow State University contest when I was about 15 years old, and I was the first kids in Russia to go and come to study in the United States of America. So when I came here, I was barely 16 years old. I went to the last semester of Springville High School in Maryland. And then, because you cannot get a diploma from just being in the school for 6 months, so I got in the University of Maryland at the age of 16 without any high school diploma, just by doing tests. But unfortunately, my beautiful story was crashed by a deadly car accident when I just a week up to my 17th birthday, when I was on a Halloween night, got in a bad car accident. Doctors gave me 3 days to live, and the best case scenario was the wheelchair. And that was kind of an event that completely shook my life, because the plan was, according to my family, according to my dad, is you graduate university, you go back to Switzerland to work for the family office, you run the family business. And then, suddenly, your life just stops. And what do? So for me, it was really only one way out. Or I'm gonna prove them wrong, and I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna have a great life, or I'm just not gonna be there. Honestly, it was between suicide and between proving doctors wrong. And for me, that was the most important figure in that life was my mom. And when you believe in something, and when you take a responsibility for something, I don't know if any one of you read the book Road Less Traveled. It's talk about taking responsibility and taking accountability for your action. And I love that book. That book actually one of the first ones I read after my accident, which I read a lot of them. It changed the way I was thinking about things. So my mom, at that point I realized that I'm not responsible for my life. The easiest thing to do is to take your life. You're done, you're whatever. but what happens to the people around you? What happens to those who love you, who care about you? I mean, in that case, I realize I'm responsible for my mom, I'm responsible for people who care about me, and I'm going to prove doctors wrong, and I'm going to take care and take charge. So that actually what made me who I am right now. Not only I am walking, I had two beautiful boys. I've become who I am thanks to the most difficult things I had to overcome. So whenever we have something in our lives that we don't really, expect, or something that hits us by surprise, sometimes things happen in our life just because we need to overcome them to become better or to get to the next level. And that's kind of like when I want a little bit sidetrack to, like the current situation. Because right now we live in a world that there is so much uncertainty, there is so much which really don't know. The traditional ways are not completely, but primarily, like, it's just not really, you cannot really, if you don't adjust to new ways, new trends, to AI, to global worlds, you really will fall behind. And that's in a way between the separation between family offices. Like, I talk to a lot of family offices who are very traditional, and they don't listen to the younger generation. But the advice is really follow the younger ones, because they really know the trends. They know what's coming more than, like even we do. And they really understand what's going to happen, and adaptability. And the other thing is that you want to ask yourself, like, for those of you who actually invest, like, why do you invest? Is it just because you want to make more money? Why do you want to make more money? It's more about the passion. If you really have a passion behind you, that's what gives you a success. It's not what you want to do, it's why you want to do it. So for me, everything became, after my car accident, everything became about passion. I was passionate about life. I was passionate about making it happen. I was passionate about ability to have children, to be able to wake up and to walk to my car rather than being rolled there in a wheelchair. So everything I have done since then was about passion. And for me, passion is something that can change the future. What can change the future? For me, it's a deep tech. It's something that a technology that can, the way adjust our lives, AI, different, basically technologies that make our lives better. So I've invested in a lot of Web3 and a lot of DeFi. But right now I'm focusing on a small public company that's outside of my portfolio of investments. We're the largest shareholders of SETA, and SETA is just basically a holding company, an incubator of different technologies, focusing on a security, safety, compression, video. We work with first responders, creating their the actionable command center. But right now what I'm most passionate about is we're rolling out the National School Safety and Security Program, which will connect schools directly to the safe responders, bypassing the 911 and saving those seconds in when the shooting or something occurs. And we also want to welcome to work with the people who understand and appreciate the passion. And for instance, we're working with Alumni Capital, and it's a lot of college kids who are passionate about investing in the future, and they want to see the world succeed. So we're actually investing in them, and they're investing in us. So it's kind of 360 go round. And also, as Napoleon Hill once said, one of their criteria is you always have to go an extra mile. So no matter what you do in life, always go an extra mile. Sometimes, being a family office, it's not that difficult to write a check, but what you actually do to contribute. So when SITA kind of came under a little bit of scrutiny and it needed to be a little change, February this year I stood up and I took a role of the CEO of the company, because I knew that I needed to actually put away some of my other stuff and my personal stuff and take a lot more time to help to manage the just operations. And so right now we restructured the company, and everything is absolutely great. Another thing I want to say that everything in life is about being flexible. I want to tell actually a pretty funny story of where my life took me. When I was a student at University of Maryland, I did not want to follow my father's footsteps and go and move to Switzerland and work for him. I decided to go into corporate America. So I had a double degree in finance and international business. And upon graduating, I had a job offer from American Express Financial Advisors. So, I mean, I thought my life was absolutely set. I had a job offer. I was admitted to MBA at American University. I had an internship in U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And also, at that time, I was just sitting at the Russian restaurant, chilled out, and somebody came up to me and saying, hey, you know, there was a contest, a beauty contest, that Miss Russia couldn't get her visa. Would you be interested in replacing her? And I've been approached in the streets about modeling many times, and I always said no because it's not something I was ever interested in. But at that time, something told me, you know what? I mean, I was not supposed to walk. I proved myself academically, but I'm still struggling with my security, my inner security. I'm still struggling with some confidence. So if I actually agreed to that, and I agreed to walk that stage, I will prove myself that not only I was able to actually just be able to walk, but mentally overcame my accident. Because when you're 17 years old in a wheelchair, you feel that doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you feel worthless, you feel that nobody ever gonna love you, and you feel that the world will never be the same. So for me, it was just a self-challenge. So I said yes. I didn't even know what the contest was or anything about it. So he introduced me to people who were running it, and it was Hawaiian Tropic International. So out of 200,000 contestants around worldwide, I was able to compete about 115 girls in Vegas for the Hawaiian Tropic International. And again, I only cared about just being able to walk the stage and not falling over because I had a lot of nerve damage. I couldn't wear heels, and I was totally freaked out. And long story short, they called 12 girls. I was not one of them. I was like, well, I got here. That's all that matters. And they say, well, this year we had so many beautiful contestants that we're going to make an exception. And they called me as number 13. And 13 has been always my lucky number. So I ended up being a first runner-up. I came back to school to my finals. I didn't even stay for the final party there because I had to finish my finals. And then I had a call from Playboy. I had no idea what Playboy is. And they say, oh, hey, I know, like, we saw you, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to come and work for us? I was like, please don't interrupt me. I'm just trying to catch up with this school I missed. And just don't bother me. So call me twice. On the third time, the call me, I was like, guys, come on, give me a break. You know, like, seriously, I mean, I'll tell you twice. I had no idea what Playboy is or anything about that. And I was like, okay, so when you're graduating, I give them the date. They send me tickets by mail. So by then, you know, I have a job offer, I'm admitted. It's like, you know what, why not to take a vacation to go to Los Angeles? You know, it's a free trip, I've never been there. I'm a little kid from Moscow who's never been around America. So I take the flight there, I go to the Playboy Mansion. They put me into the little house where their girls stay. And as soon as I set my bag down, the security guard comes up and says, hey, Natalia, Half would like you to join you for the Playmate of the Year party. And I was like, and who's Half? And it stayed with me actually for quite some time. I mean, that's how clueless I was. So I immediately got dressed and ready. So next day, my lawyer calls me. I was like, hey girl, I'm sorry. I mean, I got a job offer from Express Financial Advisors, 2 people out of 350 who had a job. It's like, we can't get you a visa. because to qualify being non-American, to qualify for a visa in the United States, you have to basically prove that non-American can qualify for the same position. Obviously in finance it doesn't work. So I'm come up to the dinner table totally bummed out. And Hef was like, what's wrong? And like, you seem really bummed out. I was like, yeah, I mean, I was supposed to get a job, and that's what I was striving for to get, and I can't. I mean, like, I know I can get into MBA and to get this, but that's not what I would do. I was like, what are you worrying about? Like, we can get you a visa like that. I mean, nobody looks like you, so that's easy to solve. So that's how I went from corporate America to being a model, and I got my green card through modeling, and only because I never cared about modeling. I never wanted to be a model, but it was my way to get my green card. So the reason I'm saying this example is you can plan anything in your life, right? But if you don't have skills to adapt to the situation, a maneuverability to go with the trend or face whatever challenges or opportunities we face and be stuck in our own way, okay, this is what I want to go. Some people get very successful at that, but most of the time, especially in a very fast-paced environment, you can get lost. So one of the choices, one of the abilities to be successful is really just let the life lead you, because somebody above, no matter what religion is kind of watching you, and if you really want something, then it will happen for you. You don't know how it will happen. You don't know by what means it will happen, but it will happen. So another thing that I wanted to say is we're all responsible for companies, for people. We all have a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders. And a lot of people look at us as example. So what differentiates a person who loses everything they had, but gets up and makes more next time around, or the one who loses everything they have and goes and jumps out of the window because they don't think they can face their peers, face their family? It's what you have inside here, what's hold you here. So unless you start taking care of yourself and believe in yourself and create your daily routine, your morning meditation, whatever works for you, for everybody is different, but taking care of you and making your me time, rewarding yourself for little victories, and not really giving yourself a hard time, because we cannot predict what's going to happen. And sometimes the worst thing that can ever happen to your life becomes your biggest blessing. I wouldn't be speaking here on the stage if I didn't almost die in the car accident, because I would have been living in Switzerland and working for my dad. And right now, I manage some of his money, I manage my own money, but I made my own life, and I created what I have right now. So what I want to live with him, believe in yourself, believe in what you do, but also remember that people are looking at all of us and as example. And people are looking up to it. So let's be an example we want everybody to be. Thank you.